we doing today?
Well, I realized something. It takes longer to cook bacon than I ever thought it did.
If you're doing it right, that's the correct thing.
But
because if you're cooking it slow and low, you get perfect bacon. If you go too high, it's going to burn.
but do you like your bacon crispy or?
Yes, I do like it a little bit crispier.
I
And I have
want
to
crispy
watch
bacon.
it.
That's why.
Yeah, the problem is that I've had it where I'm watching it, and all of a sudden it goes from crispy to a little too much, just like that. So you have to really watch it.
Oh no, so mine are in the middle of the sandwich, but I can show you one piece, like how I went. So that's about as crispy as I went.
Okay.
And I got to put it back on my sandwich now, because I have my sandwich. I had it in the middle of the sandwich, not on the, not like I didn't. I wanted to do it the way because the tomatoes crunching in the bacon.
Okay.
Is the way I did it.
Well, all my stuff is out right now. I haven't put it together. I figured I was going to put it together on the show. So there are a lot of different things you can do with your BLT. You don't necessarily, like I have, sorry, y'all, I'm getting over a cold, so my throat is a little,
hey, you got to have some good liquor there for taking that, right?
Right. And that'll always hear, like as Fluffy says, para la tos, for the cough. That's what I'm drinking, for the cough. But if you are utilizing, you don't necessarily have to have mayo on your sandwich. If you're utilizing avocado and you mash it up, that is your sauce instead of mayo. You can do an aioli. You can do a homemade sauce. You can do a chimichurri. You can use feta cheese, an onion jam, a tomato jam. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Even though I do use avocado, I still have my Hellman's mayo that I'm going to be using on my bread, because I do like my bread to be toasted on a BLT, but I also want it to be soft enough, pliable enough for me to be able to eat. So to upscale, other ways to upscale your BLT, because BLT is bacon, lettuce, tomato. Basic, nothing major. My
call it a basic lettuce and tomato sandwich, but you gotta have the bacon on there, man. The bacon makes the sandwich.
Yes. You can put fresh herbs. You can do micro. You can do romaine or other leafy lettuce. You can do heirloom tomatoes, arugula, pesto, chimichurri. You can use garlic bread. You can use, this is butcher bacon. I actually got it at Kroger from the butcher. And then if you add chicken or turkey, now it becomes a club sandwich. But this particular bacon here has Hatch chilies. Now, Hatch chilies you can only get from about mid-July to end of July, usually August through October, is when you can get Hatch chilies from Hatch, New Mexico. So there is an association, just like champagne and tequila, where if it is not grown in Hatch, New Mexico, they cannot be called Hatch chilies. And there's a whole history when it comes to Hatch chilies. And I've been to Hatch, New Mexico, because I used to live, in El Paso, Texas, about an hour and a half from where I lived. But Hatch chilies were introduced in the U.S. by Captain General Juan de Onate, who was the founder of Santa Fe back in 1609. But it was then introduced to the Pueblo Indians of New Mexico from about 1582 to 1583, somewhere about there. But it was not until 1601 that the chilies were listed as an Indian crop, and that was according to the colonist Francisco de Valverde. But it wasn't until the Spanish began the settlement and the cultivation of chili peppers that they started to grow all over New Mexico. Now, there was an Australian immigrant that moved to Hatch, New Mexico, and his grandson then in the 21st century took a tack. So the Friends Zoe settled in New Mexico in 1917, and they were growing cotton and wheat. And then after 12 years, he had this dream of owning a farm. And his neighbors were laughing at him because who's this foreigner determined to diversify the crops and plant vegetables in place of where cotton was king. And the farmers usually sold the crop of cotton to the gins, who then shipped it everywhere, transporting their own produce themselves. But Joseph Franzoy, he saw an opportunity and he started to plant the crops, and he started to sell them directly to farm to table, what we know now, farm to table, knowing where your food is coming from. And it was like this 16-day journey to maneuver a wagon load of grains and vegetables along roads on the foothills. And then he then expanded to Silver City, but it was still getting up at 3 a.m. to get to the train by 8 a.m. in Hatch, and it was just an endeavor. And then his neighbor is the one that introduced him to the Hatch chili, which then became Hatch chili. He thought he was being poisoned because this was so spicy, but he grew to love it, and he kept some of the seeds. Now, the Hatch chili is usually green, but it does turn red. So depending on when it's being harvested and depending on the weather. So it is so dependent on weather, but usually August through September into maybe October if the weather is a little bit warmer. So this farmer, he bought farms for his daughters and his sons, and they established roots there in Hatch. And then they started to grow wheat, hay, alfalfa, and then, of course, started to grow chili, which chili is very particular. You have to hand pick it. You can't just, use tractors or anything. But they started to do that. It just became this very specific thing in the state. And then it became, they declared it the state's official vegetable, although botanists will say that these chilies are actually a fruit, not a vegetable. And
but where's the bacon in this? I'm still
right
for the bacon in this.
So
I got to pick on her, ladies and gentlemen.
yes, you do, and that's okay because I go off on a tangent. It went beyond the Southwest in 1971 before I was even born. But it became into this Hatch Chili Festival. It became this thing. And when it was so great being in El Paso because you can go and find these big, roasters that you could smell the chili as you're getting there. It just became this very process. Well, they added the Hatch chilies to my bacon at Kroger, which I had to buy because it was like, there's Hatch chilies in that. And I had already picked up the chilies because these are going to get roasted. And I'm going to be making my own salsa with it with the green tomatillos. There's some onions, garlic. I'm going to be roasting everything and making my own chili. I don't know how spicy these Hatch chilies.
I think we'll do chili in like February, right? Here in Texas, it's too hot to eat chili right now.
Oh, you know what? It's no matter where you are in Latin America, especially Mexico, you're going to be eating chili. Or if you're in New Mexico or Texas, you're going to be adding chili. But the grandson actually, he decided to help his grandfather because he was helping them grow these chilies. And the family was selling 16 to 32,000 pounds of chili. Preston, he was in his hotel room and he says, Grandpa, I want to help you. And so he made a modest $300 investment on a website. So y'all, this is the importance of having a website to grow your business. So bringing it back to simple, easy websites. If you don't have a website, how are you going to grow your brand? How are you going to grow your product? So it took him a few days, and he then was able to sell 2,000 pounds of online chili in that first year. Then he made an official shipping system, and the following year, 20,000 pounds of chili were sold online. And the New Mexico State University expanded the chili entrepreneurship with his girlfriend, Elena. And they are in Mesilla, which is a small town outside of Las Cruces. So from El Paso to Las Cruces, it's probably about half an hour, and then from there to Macias another 15 minutes. So bringing it back, that Hatch Chilies went from selling door to door in a wagon to going national and having this become a business that all he wanted to do was help his grandfather sell the chilies, which became a family tradition and became a business. So if you go to hatch-green-chili.com, you will be able to get to the Hatch Chili store. They specialize in high-end chilies, raw and roasted. And it is just, just awesome to see how something so simple like a chili can grow into a brand, all because of a website. And now it's in my bacon. So
let's get back to the bacon. I'm into bacon. I don't care about the chilies tonight. I'm into bacon.
But I had to bring that up because to find Hatch Chilies in my bacon, I thought it was awesome, because normally I either get the maple or the hickory.
Yeah.
Which for $5.99 a pound at Kroger, I think that is awesome, an awesome price for bacon, because they have like fresh bacon right there. So it is, freshly.
Well, no, we just looked at the container of our bacon and see when the expiration date was and went like, oh, it's still good. We're cooking it.
There you go.
Now I'm going to switch gears onto it because, the drinks we decided to do tonight was around lemonade.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to shock Craig with this if he watches this show, because if you've been to Craig Dustwald's Rockstar boot camps, you've seen me with a jar like this, and everybody thinks it's my stash. Here's what it really is, ladies and gentlemen: mint green tea with lemonade,
which is awesome.
Which is my refreshing drink in the summertime that I like to do, and I make it myself. I make it one mason jar at a time. I do not make it. I don't make big batches of it because I want it small batches to taste the same. But I make a lemonade, which is basically it's a store-bought lemonade. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a country time lemonade that I use to make it. But my tea is always tea bags. I make it like I'm regular green tea, and then I add lemonade to it. So tonight being a lemonade show, I wanted to show you guys I have lemonade and I have the tea, which I got to watch when I pour out of these jars, because on my desk I just made a mess while you were talking, because it doesn't pour well out of a mason jar. But I have the tea. This is just regular tea. But tonight we're going to doctor it a little. There's one way to doctor iced tea, and I think there's two options you could put in that iced tea lemonade. One, tequila,
which I do. Lalo's.
Yep, is vodka. Now, which one do you think that I'm going to put in tonight?
I think you're going to do the vodka. No, you're going to go with Lalo's. You're going to go.
I'm going to do tequila.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
I do want to try the vodka with it, but I really wanted to do tequila. To me, tequila is more summerish.
It is. That is very true. So I will tell you, I found out, and I knew about it, only I hadn't thought about it. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, oh, this is what I'm doing. So we have a couple of new listeners, and I was talking about, the lemonade. And so he says, oh, that's a Lynchburg if you add whiskey to it. Now, it's specifically, it's Jack Daniels, and it was named for the Tennessee home of the Jack Daniels distillery, because it was, but originally it was created in Huntsville, Alabama in 1980 by a bar owner named Tony Mason. Now, when Tony Mason heard that Jack Daniels was utilizing his recipe and calling it the Lynchburg lemonade, he sued Jack Daniels for not giving him credit. And of course, the distillery won. So nowhere will you know, but just know that Tony Mason in Huntsville, Alabama is the one that came up with the Lynchburg lemonade. So originally it was a sour mix, but we want to leave the sour mix in the 80s. And so we want to do some fresh squeezed lemonade, maybe some orange juice, some lemon juice with simple syrup or lemonade. Now, you can also swap it out for some Pellegrino's Limonata, La Croix, Limoncello. So there's various things you can do. But it's supposed to be 1 ounce of Jack Daniels, 1 ounce of triple sec, half an ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, and then lemon lime soda, and you garnish with the lemon wedge. Now, what you could do is if you're like a little bit going, hey, Jack, that's kind of mean. Well, then you know what? Put your own whiskey, and I'm going to do Monkey Shoulder, which is a blended malt Scotch whiskey, or you can do a bourbon lemonade with Buffalo Trace straight bourbon. So I'm going to go with this one, but I do have my Lalos over here.
And I'm going to tell you guys, all I did, and this is nothing more than the tea I drink in the afternoon, refreshing, all right, with a single shot of tequila and stirred in.
So
it is so refreshing, and the tequila just, and then again, Lalo tequila is probably the most smoothest tequila you will ever drink, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I think we've had the show at least a dozen times by now.
We have.
It's smooth.
So I did make fresh lemonade. I squeezed the lemons. I, added the sugar with the hot water and then the lemon. So that's in here. I do have this little guy because I think it needs a little bit more lemon, but I wasn't sure until I made it if I was going to want that. And the other thing that I did was that I took the watermelon and I did blend it to get my watermelon juice, and then I put it through a sieve twice to get rid of all the pulp. You don't have to, but it's get rid of the pulp. It makes your drink look that much prettier. So I thought, well, what's the best way? Nothing says summer like watermelon and lemonade. And if we put it together, I can
add some tequila. What else could go wrong?
Tequila, right? Exactly. So I had a variety of options. And then, of course, I have my BLT. And then, of course, you can add your sides. So sides for your BLT, there's so many sides you can do for your BLT. Today, I went just boring and went chips. But you can also do fruit salad. You can do watermelon. I have my little watermelon right here. You can do.
I got a whole dish of it right here.
I do have more. Onion rings, chips, tomato soup, French onion soup, egg salad, pasta salad, macaroni salad. You can even do crispy cheese curds, potato salad, cucumber, corn, and red onion salad. There was I saw this one video that looked delicious. You add also lemon and olive oil and some seasonings, mac and cheese, black bean and corn salad, veggies and hummus, coleslaw, which I almost bought, deviled eggs, mozzarella cheese, pickles. Keep it simple, a Caesar or a spinach salad, baked beans. So you can really do so much with a BLT.
You know what I think you should do with a BLT, Gladys?
Eat it.
I think you should eat it.
So
because you notice I'm gonna have my sandwich half gone while Gladys keeps telling you about it.
Right. So I have finished building it. Now I'm cutting it in half. How do you cut your sandwiches? Diagonal or?
Because I used a big piece of sourdough bread, I just did the straight up and down cut, the clean cut. Okay. If I was doing a square bread, say a regular wheat, and I looked at, I was going to do wheat. I looked into doing a rye, a marble rye, and decided sourdough.
Oh yeah.
But if white bread, I will hardly ever do a sandwich with white bread. Every now and then I will, but for the most part, I don't do a white bread. Then my grilled cheese sandwiches, I cut them the diagonal one. That's just the way I am. I have made BLTs with my tomato soup before.
Oh, okay.
That is the other thing I've done. To me, the BLT sandwich is one of the most refreshing summertime sandwiches. So it's not going to fill me up as much, but it is going to fill me up in a way because the bread,
yeah,
all right, is going to fill me up. It's going to fill my stomach for the afternoon, and then I'm going to be happy. I usually dip it in a soup or something like that to go extra with it. But it is a perfect summertime sandwich because I love a lot of lunch meats. I love like burgers, but in the afternoon, in the summertime, in Texas heat with me, it can weigh me down. And like this morning, I had a burger for lunch. We moved our Master Network meeting to a burger joint. And of course, I had to try a new burger every week. And I had a burger.
as big as your
me, I like the small. I mean, I'll eat a McDonald's cheeseburger, but I had a burger. Well, this afternoon, it wore me out. And I mean, my one call, They rescheduled. They were at 3:00 today. They rescheduled till tomorrow. And about 3:15, they weren't showing up, and I was doing this in the chair, waiting for them. Finally, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go lay down for 15 minutes, and it was an hour and a half later because that burger really. And in the summertime, in the heat, all right, it will knock me out. I'll have to take a nap, and I hate taking naps because I always feel like I'm 3 days behind.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, so it is still so refreshing with just, I mean, I literally, it's not rocket science. This is tea and a little tequila, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, let's get a picture of this. I'm gonna have mine and then yours, and I'm gonna move these out of the way because they don't need to be on camera. Because let's get a good picture.
So I gotta watch. I'm gonna dump my tequila bottle because I have my microphone that goes at an angle.
Gotta love it.
But the other thing I was going to do, because I have it here, is I was going to change up and do another little lemonade drink. I do have some regular lemonade,
Okay.
but I brought some fresh strawberries.
Which I bought. I should have brought them to the office. I left them at home.
Gwen got me some fresh strawberries because I was going to do a strawberry sauce, but I'm like, no. I'm going to do some strawberries, the lemonade. I'm going to have to add a couple ice cubes to this. Always keep some ice cubes on the desk while I'm doing the show every week. The only thing that would make this better than, and I'm going to do this one here, I think what I'm going to do with vodka. Right? But it could be done either way. A little vodka, and I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to do a free pour to what I think is a shot. Stir. And let that vodka stir into the drink, and then I'm going to let it mule. I'm not going to drink it right away. I'm going to let that strawberries kind of soak up some of the lemonade,
Right.
And vodka.
And there's various ways that you can do it. Simply a lemonade is another way. A Fever Sparkling Sicilian lemonade. You can even do the liquid IV lemon lime. This is really good. It's sugar free, so you can use this to make your lemonade. And then you can use pretty glasses. So there's various things you can do. So I'm gonna do my Lynchburg because there was a story that a 19-year-old had came back from the service and was mowing lawns for the neighbors in some small town, Idaho or Utah. I can't remember exactly, but it was a small town. And so the little 90-year-old lady, after the lawn was mowed, say, "So, Sonny, would you like some lemonade?" Of course, he's like, "Sure." And he got hammered on Lynchburg lemonade. Did not know that there was whiskey in it. So, but he got hooked on Lynchburg lemonade at 19 years old. The names will be withheld because, poor little granny, I'm going to say she was senile and didn't know what she was doing when she was giving a 19-year-old, alcoholic lemonade, but so 30 years later, I guess it is 34. Yeah. 30 some odd years later. I don't think Granny's
He's old enough now.
Yeah. And Granny's probably 6 feet under many years back.
Yeah.
Well,
But, and I did think about doing that tonight. But I thought, when we talked about lemonade last week, I thought about two things that why I like lemonades. So I'm sorry, a customer just texting me in the middle of this. I like lemonades because I remember when I used to wash cars, I'd be out in the summer all the time, out in the heat, in the summertime. And I mixed a very, very light version. Like I always had water, but I would add a lemonade. Like I'd buy lemonade and I would dilute the water with a little bit of lemonade. So it gave the lemonade, gave you the energy to keep going, and the water hydrated you. And that was something I always did. And then over the years, I learned to like green tea and lemonade. And I know a lot of people, I remember as a kid drinking lemonade and black tea. and I think that's called the Arnold Palmer.
Palmer?
Yeah. But I liked it better with green tea.
I remember was it Suntime lemonade, the powdered stuff. I remember making that growing up.
Mhm.
That was my brother loved that stuff, so we'd make pictures. The great thing about something like this is you can make it into a picture and just don't add the alcohol. Let the adults add whatever they want, whether it's moonshine, tequila, bourbon, whiskey, vodka. Let them add whatever they want. Add some ice to it. And this is a drink that can be stirred. It does not need to be shaken. Just stir it. I mean, it just stirs beautifully together. So
The other thing you can add to it, it will tint your flavor, but it's healthy for you. A little bit of fresh ginger.
Or mint.
Yes.
Oh.
So
Mint goes very well. Mint, basil, ginger go very well with lemonade, go well with watermelon.
yeah.
Using the herbs. So if you're using herbs in your BLT, you can add some of those herbs. You can use thyme or rosemary. There's a lot more recipes out there with thyme for lemonade, although I think rosemary would go a little bit better in my opinion. Even if it's to garnish it, you garnish it and it just gives you a slight hint of that rosemary in there.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of lavender out here in Oregon, so they have lavender lemonade. I personally don't care for that. I've tasted it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. I don't like lavender in my drinks.
I was like, oh no, and I love lavender, but in my lemonade, I drank it and I went, yeah, never again. So so that was my thing, but it's just because I like the smell of lavender. I don't need to drink or eat my lavender.
Yeah. No.
So
To me, I think of lavender for my smells, my perfumes, my soaps, things like that. I don't think it's something I want in my drinks.
yeah, little patches, to make the my room smell just really good and very relaxing.
Yeah.
That absolutely, but not for. I just don't like the taste of it in my food.
I mean, so, and I know you were talking about the hatch chilies. Actually, if you could get a little bit of a chili sauce in your lemonade, ooh,
Oh, you can put jalapenos.
yeah,
Oh my goodness, I think jalapenos in this watermelon.
would probably give it just a little bit of a bite.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot, but a little bit of a bite to it. All right, and these are things that make your drink fresher, make your drink come up with it. Be original with what you like.
Yeah.
All right, and lemonade is something you can drink with or with alcohol, with or without. You don't have to have the alcohol in it if you don't want.
So the bacon a kick.
I let the strawberries are just now starting to seep in. All right, and vodka, unlike your tequila, which is going to give you the saltiness coming in, your vodka does not. So it is not robbing anything. I'm still tasting the lemonade and I'm tasting the strawberries. I'm not tasting vodka because vodka, as you know, is pretty much a neutral alcohol that you can add to most things and give it a twist.
In my opinion, this Hatch chili BLT, tastes better with the watermelon than with the Lynchburg.
Oh, wow. Now we're going to try the watermelon.
See, I moved my watermelon into a pretty glass. And then you can put a sprig of mint in here.
Mm-hmm.
It look really pretty. You can add, there's so much you can do. You can add some feta cheese, basil, a drizzle of olive oil, salt, pepper, and you have a watermelon salad. And then you can throw a sprig of mint, a sprig of basil. Mint just looks beautiful. It just, if you're going to do basil, it doesn't have that same prettiness as mint does. I would do one or the other, not both. because they otherwise mint will overpower.
Yeah.
And you can do spearmint too. So spearmint, peppermint. There's so many different types of mint that you can use. Some of them are a little bit more mellow. So depending on what you like and what you're growing, but you can throw in a little bit of lemon also in your olive oil, salt, pepper, feta. You can also throw in some blueberries in there, some strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot you can do with watermelon. There's a lot of videos that I've seen of boozy watermelons where they just stick all the bottles into the watermelon. Yeah. That I'm not in college anymore. So
yeah, to me that was not the purpose in like what we do the show, because we still have the flavors we want into it. And I'm not a college student drinking as much Miller Lite or Keystone Light to get as drunk as I can.
Right.
No, I'm starting to do things for the flavor. And in this case here, some of the stuff we're having today is the flavors in your refreshments, because it is summertime. It's still picnic, Yep. All right, I'm going to dip a little bit of this in my lemonade to see.
Oh, okay.
And I think I only did about one shot of vodka into it.
And you can infuse your watermelon. I mean, you could take this, put some watermelon, maybe a shot of vodka in here just to infuse it. And the other thing you can do, you can freeze your watermelon juice. And if you do cut up a big watermelon, because it was on sale at Kroger for $3.99 for a watermelon that was this big. The one that was like this big was like $5.
Yeah.
But the one this big. One is make sure that there is a yellow and at the bottom or at the top, whatever, of the watermelon. And the more of what looks to be like somebody came and scratched at it, that is what you want to see in the watermelon, because that means that the bees were at it because it's a sweet watermelon. Mm-hmm. So you actually want to see all those scratches. So if it looks imperfect, it is probably sweeter. So make sure that one, it is yellow or kind of whitish at the bottom, and you got the scratches, you're going to have a really good watermelon. If you only cut it through, because really all of this took a half a watermelon, what you do with your second half, rinse it down, so that way you get any of the metals off. You put like 3 cloves of garlic and put saran wrap on it. What that will do is it will help the bacteria not collect on the watermelon, because that's the one thing with watermelon. It will quickly collect bacteria and it will go bad very quickly. So by putting just whole garlic cloves and wrapping it in saran wrap or in plastic wrap, you're going to save your watermelon a little bit more, for it to last you a couple weeks.
So I just thought of one other drink I should really do. And I'll bet you guys are surprised I didn't come up with this yet.
Moonshine?
Moonshine. Why have I not done a little bit of moonshine? So I got 2 strawberries left.
So
I'm going to go. You can do it all, but I'm going to tell you guys about it real quick, and then she's going to continue. I'm going to add some moonshine to it, and I'm going to add some lemonade and stir it in. You know what I mean? I'm going to use Tim Smith's Climax Moonshine, which is one of my favorites. My favorite nationwide brand, and my second favorite is American Born. My shots
with moonshine. What you could do is get the watermelon flavored moonshine and add it to lemon.
No. Regular moonshine, pour it over watermelon, let it soak for about 12 hours, and then don't buy that flavored stuff. Make your own. Infuse your own, ladies and gentlemen. So,
but if you're being lazy,
to it, stir it in. See the difference between this one here. Much sweeter to taste, because moonshine's going to be a little sweeter than vodka. Oh.
And how does it go with your BLT, or is the BLT gone?
The BLT's still here. I still have half the BLT left because we got to talking. And then before I go with the BLT, you know what I'm going to chase first with it?
Dr. Pepper. Oh. I'm like, I didn't see a Dr. Pepper anywhere on there. if you make your own bread, if you buy some artisan bread, you can always put it on the grill. So what Jamie Oliver does is that after he's made his bacon, he puts the bread on the pan to pick up the juices from the fat from the bacon. Mind you, he's not using regular bacon. He's using some uncured bacon. But you can do that. You can put a little bit of butter and put it on the grill pan before you put together your bacon sandwich or BLT, because he does a bacon sandwich that is very basic, which just has a butter and bacon. I mean, that is his bacon sandwich. But he also has artisan bread, and he does heirloom tomatoes when he does add the tomatoes. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to make your BLT special.
This is just summer. This is summer in a meal right here.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I not think to put? And of course, I did it with a regular lemonade, not with my tea. I've never done the moonshine in my green tea yet.
Mm.
I've never. You can imagine that it's like the two different things I drink at two different times, but I've never put them together.
That's interesting.
Oh, that's my. All right. I have 3 drinks in front of me. My green tea with tequila, lemonade, strawberries, vodka, lemonade, strawberries, moonshine. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the moonshine one is the best.
Nice.
Moonshine is going to give you a little more sweetness than your vodka, and you're going to have a little more saltiness with your tequila. So yeah.
And if you're doing that, you can always add tahini to the rim of your glass. It all depends. What do you want? Do you want a little bit sweeter? Do you want a little bit saltier? Do you want it a little spicy? You can adjust it to your flavor palette. So if you want a little bit more sour, then add a little bit more. That's why I had this here just in case I needed a little bit more sour in my drink. I could just add the lemon in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can adjust it. It has to be your flavor, but the easiest way to make lemonade is you put the sugar and your water, and then once that is sweetened, then you add your lemon. If you add your lemon first, you will end up with more sugar because the lemon will reject the sugar. So you want to make sure that you are mixing your hot water or warm water with sugar, let it dissolve, then add your lemon juice, then add additional cold water or ice to it. And that is the trick to making some good lemonade. Because you might say, man, my lemonade just doesn't get sweet. Well, that's because you probably are adding the sugar after the fact. You need to add it first. And in this case, I did do that. You can also do simple syrup, lemon juice. That's another way. And by adding the sugar and the hot water, that is essentially simple syrup. And then adding the lemon juice to it, then it's going to take. So it depends if you're going to make a batch, you can put it in a big pitcher, or if you're going to make a single cocktail. But if you're having a party, put the watermelon in the blender, then put it through a sieve so that way, or a cheesecloth to get rid of the pulp. Get rid of the pulp. There's really no use for it. I did it twice to get rid of it, and I got rid of multiple pulp. And it said even then, you want to make sure because it still has a little bit of settling in here. Not as much right now, but if it sits, it will settle down just a little bit more. So make sure you shake it, and then add ice, and then put slivers of your lemon as decoration, and there you go. You have a delicious pitcher of watermelon lemonade. If you can find a watermelon sorbet, you can add scoops of sorbet in there, and that'll make it nice and fluffy and fun for the kiddos. But again, keep the alcohol separate for those that don't want to drink, or if you want to make sure that the kiddos have something that they can drink out of a pitcher, or ladle it. I almost put one in my mom's little saucers that were from a pitcher that she gave me from way back when. So there's various ways that you can make this fun, family friendly. So don't feel like, oh, this is only adults only. No, you can make it family friendly. And this bacon, it's got a little bit of a kick, and it's pretty darn good. So hatch chilies, right now is the time to find them. You should be able to find them at Kroger. Um, and if you can order them online, if you are ordering them online, it'll take a couple days to get there, but they'll be within 2 days of hatching them that you will get them. Throw them in a barbecue to get them black. Throw them in a plastic bag with a little bit of water to help steam them. Then you can take off the skin. Then you can utilize them. You can find recipes online. I'm going to be making it into a salsa just because that sounds good. I might decide to make it into a green enchilada sauce, but for now, it's going to be a green salsa for me just because it sounds yummy.
It'll be a chili in a couple months, ladies and gentlemen, when we bring chili.
Mm.
You know, one of the things that we get from southern New Mexico is a hatch chili wine. We get from two different wineries, and they have a red and they have a white. The red is made more from a powder from the chili than the white is made with the actual chilies.
Okay.
And the red actually gives you more of a kick than the white. And the white is really, I mean, you chill the white, it's very refreshing. I think I have a bottle of it that I have open out there somewhere. But
that is one thing I did not buy while I was out there. But Hatch, New Mexico has like 1,500 residents. So it's a small town.
So yeah, we found it in they used to be called St. Clair's. I know they're called something else now.
Okay.
A winery. And we found them in gosh, it wasn't Las Cruces. It was west of Las Cruces on I-10. And I know like a lot of their wines are grown up north, or a lot of their grapes are grown up north, but some of them are grown down there in the south.
Were you in Albuquerque or before?
No, south side, like west of Las Cruces.
Was it Mesilla?
Huh?
Mesilla?
Mesilla is south of Las Cruces.
Trying to think. There's Cloudcroft, but I think that's north.
That's east of. I'll find Deming. Deming, which is west. And St. Clair's is literally, I want to say it's about halfway between the two, right? Yeah. But like to get there, you either take the back roads in, or you go to Deming and you take a road and you come halfway back. All right, it's just the way the winery is, and that's their southern one. I think they have a tasting house in. I think they have a tasting house in Las Cruces, but I don't think we've ever been to it. And I know they have it up in. I know they have it up in Albuquerque area as well.
Okay. And if you're in that area of Las Cruces, there's Truth and Consequences. There's also the sand dunes where they do. There is so much in New Mexico, especially closer to El Paso. So whenever I would go hang out, I didn't hang out in El Paso. I'd go into Las Cruces. Cloudcroft was a cute little town. You go from desert to mountains and greenery and snow. It was and a lot cooler, cute little town. A lot of pistachios are grown in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that goes on in New Mexico. But one of the things I remember about New Mexico from way back when, 20, maybe 30 years, I guess it's 30 years ago, I'm aging myself, was the Cowboy Way, where it says, there ain't no cowboys in Texas. They're from New Mexico. So I lived in El Paso, but I would hang out in New Mexico. So it's a different way of life out there. So if you're ever in that area, check it out. There are some cute things. You just have to find them outside of Albuquerque. Truly, there's some fun stuff.
I do know that if you drive on I-10 west of El Paso, before you get to the New Mexico line, I can tell you there's cows. From driving it on motorcycle, mm-hmm. It has a certain odor to it. To let you know it's cows.
So one of my friends, she took over her sister's porta potty business, and she went into the methane gas because she said you can power things with methane gas. So she was working at the various cow ranches to essentially take that methane from the cow poop, to make energy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that is going on out there that unless you're a local there, you don't know. It's pretty cool.
Oh, anyway, this has been a pretty cool episode. I came here thinking I was going to taste it. I came here thinking I was going to, taste a little bit of lemonade and eat a BLT. And I walked out of here with some education on hatch chilies, and realized that I like moonshine and my lemonade better than anything. How about you?
I think that I really like watermelon lemonade. Easy to make. I realized that I miss hatch chilies, and I remember the first time I saw them out here in Portland, I was like, hatch chilies. I bought a whole flat of them, and I was like, what else am I going to do with them? So it's this nostalgia sometimes of locations where we've been that we really like, and it's how can we make the best of them. And it really goes, the hatch chili bacon goes very well with the watermelon lemonade. And yeah, the Lynchburg, it's okay, but definitely the Lalo's tequila went very well with watermelon. I should have done the tajin in the rim of the glass. That would have just added a little kick, but it was good. So this was a fun episode, and finding my hatch chili bacon was just an added plus.
Cool. So, all right. Well, let's before we wrap our show up, there's a couple things we have to do. First and foremost is, ladies and gentlemen, we do have an insiders club. We mention on every show. Go to likethewayyoudrink.com. Must be 21 to join. Our insiders club is where you can get to do tastings with us, as well as help us pick things to go on the air and get invites to our events, as well as alcohols that we are mixing. That's just really, hit me. But go to likethewayyoudrink.com. All right, you fill it in. It's going to ask you your age. You must tell us you must be want to join. All right, it is free to join. All right, the cost is only if you come to an event or come to things like that. That expense is on you. If you buy any alcohols from us, it is on you. It is not included. So go check that out. Other than that, this show is brought to you every week by our businesses. We pay the bill to make this thing keep happening, and that's why we have so much fun doing it. Anyway, Gladys, of course, we always let Gladys go first because she's the woman, and she gets to talk about her business first, and then I'll come back and tell you about mine.
Well, I am Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design, helping you be the employer of choice by providing employee benefits. Do you have that question? Can I even afford benefits? Hey, let's have the conversation. Go to my website, insurancedesignpros.com, or if you are ready to get on my calendar, again, there's no obligation, enrollnoworegon.com. Doesn't matter what state you're in. I will find you a broker if I cannot help you. That's enrollnoworegon.com for my calendar, and we'll have a conversation so that you can be the employer of choice. And this is my co-host.
Hey guys, my name is Tim Gillette. Simple, easy websites. We do websites for small business, the entrepreneur, and the solopreneur. All right, giving them an affordable solution to get started and keep their website online. We run it, we maintain it, we build it for you. That's all we do is websites, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have other things that we can plug in and work with other people to get done around your website, but we're the people who take care of your website, so you don't have to. You can go back about doing your business. Simple, easy websites. It's kind of our name. SimpleEasyWebsites.com. Go check us out. What else we got?
That's all I got for today. Thank you all for being here.
All right. Well, guys, next week we'll be back with another fun episode. We promise. All right. We move into August next week. Can you believe it?
I know this year has just been flying by. We're going to be hitting our 3-year anniversary before we know it.
We should do a party for our 3-year anniversary. Oh, no, wait a minute. Can we take time off of our schedules to do
I
it?
know, because it's like my craziest time of year.
So
But August was of 3 years ago is when we first really
yeah,
started.
August was the idea when we come up with this idea. It was in August of 3 years ago that we come up with the idea. All right. Back when Craig was smart and lived in Texas.
I know, now he's in neither one of our states.
Yeah, he's one of those commies who went to California. That's what we call him in Texas, you know.
Okay, just don't tell him.
Don't tell them. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week. In the meantime, guys, have a great week. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.